Revolution in physics. In this video I would like to describe my invention, how does it works and how can it help to the world and life on this planet. This invention is working against physical laws, specifically against law of Mr. Newton. The law says that the presence of bodies is always mutual and action occurs simultaneously and at the same time expires. That means body which acts to themselves cannot move. All drives, which we are using today, are working on principle of action of the forces when one body acts on the second and thus the second act on the first one to provide the movement of a body or bodies. Summary of the invention. The priority is made this machine. The source of power must be part of this machine and used power source is part of this machine. That means this machine will act to themselves. It does not need outside force. Minimum number of components are 2 hammers and 2 source of pulsed force. This device is using action and reaction forces. The action and reaction forces are directed against each other so they interfere, and so the resulting force is in that way how we want. For better description of this device we will move to vacuum. I will describe it in 3 steps. First step. We have a desk. From the desk stand up a pivot. It's a part of this desk. On the pivot it's catch the hammer. Next we have here the pulse source of energy. Next only PSE, and stopper. The hammer can move only in range of 90 degrees. When the PSE hit the hammer with force F1 the hammer will move from the PSE away and at the same time the desk move other side because of force F1R. Movement of the hammer created centrifugal force F2, it act also on the table, because the hammer is catch on pivot and the pivot is part of the table so the table also move in the same way. When the hammer hits the stopper it will make movement to the side because of the reaction force F3R. Second step. Now we put on opposite side of the hammer an arm with weight. The weight is same like the weight of the hammer. After the impulse, which move the hammer on the desk will act F1R and the desk start moving forwards. Centrifugal effect from the hammer F2 in this case will not act on the desk, because the centrifugal effect F2R from the weight on the other side of the hammer will cancel it. When the hammer hits the stopper, the desk will move to the left because of the force F3R. The result will be that the desk in vacuum will move forwards and to the side. It will rotate. Third step. The last thing we do is that we put the 2 hammers with the weight on the opposite and 2 pivots. The hammers will move in 2 planars. So now we have 2 hammers with weight on the opposite side and 2 PSE. The PSE gives force to the hammers 2 times F1 and at the same time the desk will move in the same way because of the force 2 times F1R. The centrifugal forces F2 will liquidate themselves, also the reaction force F3 because the hammers will hit each other. So now this forces are annulated, only force we have now is 2 times F1R and this force move the desk forwards. What no? We can travel in space. The hammers hit the stoppers in same time, they will rebound back by spring and the PSEs will hit them back and the whole process repeats. So we have again forces 2 times F1R and thus lead to a further acceleration of desk. The PSE's force is still the same, that means the desk will accelerate constantly. By every impulse it will go faster. Can't believe it. Let's calculate. Let's say that the force 2 times F1R will move the desk 0.2 meters per second, so by every impulse it passes 0.2 meters per second. If we had 10 impulses in second, we can calculate it how fast will a desk go for how long it take to do current speed. The speed is given by v equals axt. Acceleration is 2 meters per second and time is in seconds. The orbit is given by s equals 1/2 xt2. That means in hour the disk's speed in space will be 7.2 kilometers per second and it pass 12,960 kilometers. For 24 hours the speed will be 172.8 kilometers per second and it pass 7.4 million kilometers. For a week the speed will be 1,209.6 kilometers per second and it pass 6.7 billion kilometers. For a year the speed will be 5,184 kilometers per second and it pass 994 billion kilometers. It can reach speed of light for 4 years and 9 months. In that time it will be 22 trillion kilometers far away. 2.38 sun-year. The kinetic energy is given by E equals 1/2 m times v2, with m is weight, and v is calculate speed. If we want to travel by this device in space, the weight of this module will be 8,000 kilograms, then it equals 0.5 times 8,000 times 0.22 equals 160 joule. If we put it in watts, 1 watt equals 1 joule per second. We have impulse every 0.1 second, the consumption is 160 joule per 0.1 second, equals 1600 watt, that's less than some home appliances. This energy is needed only for acceleration or slowing down. No for flight. Now we know how to travel. But we can also make electrical energy. How? This device will be on disk on axle. We need again 2 hammers, 2 PSE, and 2 stoppers where the hammers will hit it. The hammers can move only in range of 90 degrees. When the PSE hits the hammers, hammers will bounce away and hit the stopper. Springs will pull the hammers back in the same position. The disc will slowly start to rotate. The centrifugal force of the disc act on speed of the hammer when it coming back to the PSE. Like this the speed will rise and the disc will go faster and faster until one of the component will break because of the strong force. This invention was tested in simulation program Algodo. This program simulated all force like in real world. Energy parameters for rotating disk 69.42 rpm. Because we have a gyroscope here, we can say that energy of this disk is 51.9 kilowatts. Energy needed for movement of the hammers, E equals 1/2 m times v2, with m is weight, and v is initial speed. The initial speed can be read from the simulation. We know the weight of the hammer, 10.5 kilograms. So for movement of the one hammer is E equals 1/2 times 10.5 times 10.832 equals 615.77 joule. We have impulses every 0.1352 second. Is 7.396 in 1 second. The input in watts, so joule per second. So the input for one hammer is 615.77, 0.1352 equals 4,554 watts. That means that we need for 2 hammers PSE with input 9.11 kilowatts. And how it works in the simulation program.